happen in several organizations, in manufacturers, that for a few days this is helpful, this is motivating, but this is not a permanent motivator. And what Herzberg found in his studies is that there are other factors called motivators, and these have a longer effect. And he mentions a few ones, such as a promotion, promoting someone. And this involves four factors. What does a person feel when they get promoted? They feel that their work is being recognized, their work is being acknowledged. So this motivates a person. They think that they're taken into account. They feel like they're taken into account. And this is not just about money, and of course it's part of the promotion, but sometimes the difference is not that significant. But just having that promotion at any level is regarded as a motivational factor. Number two is whether they're learning something new. All the trainings, all the teachings, for example, the Symposium, is very motivating because you come here with an open mind, I hope, to find new ideas, to find new formulas. And this is something that many other people would like to have, which is motivated to stand out, to participate, to be able to participate in certain meetings. Another key issue related to promotion is the chance to learn something new. And this helps people not feel stuck. This is very motivating. It's not only that people can see that they're moving along, there's a possibility to develop further. And the last one is recognition by itself, feedback, positive feedback. For example, I have seen several cases where people come to me and say, well, I can get twice what I earn at the moment. And the story is either I have already changed my job or I'm about to change, but many people come back. What do you think the main factor why they come back, why they don't like the other organization is? Why do they keep coming back? And that's because of the way they were treated. How you're treated as a person. And this is quite motivating, and this is common sense, of course, but we forget about it sometimes. And there have been people who say that they don't mind going back to their old paycheck or receiving that kind of money because they have heard how the people are treated there, and that the work environment in general is not good, it's not respectful. So people change money for a good time, for being at ease at the workspace with their companions. So there's another key issue worth mentioning here, leadership. Leadership is about keeping your people, about making your people feel motivated. So these are Herzberg's findings regarding motivational factors, and the other factors which he calls hygiene, which are temporary maintenance. Here we have a summary of what I've done so far. The more needs an individual satisfies in their work, the more responsible and productive they will be.
So the greater need is satisfied, then he would be more responsible and more productive. For instance, in a plant where we gave some motivation courses, motivation towards advancing and achieving, we had a program for the workers, not only for the managers, because the CEO said that course should be taken to every level, to the top level and also to the workers. And one day I came across a worker that I recalled very well, and I asked him, "Why aren't you working?" And he said, "I am on my way to my English class." And I asked him, "How did you get that idea?" Well, the thing is that I've realized that the boards, the new machines, those dashboards are electronic. And I know about these electronic dashboards, but I don't know about electronics. So I asked for a course, a remote course, and it's in English. So I must study in English, and then I would be in a good position to get a promotion and not losing my job. So that's why I am going to English lessons. Isn't that motivating to you? This kind of worker that has the vision, envisioning the future. And this has happened with computers. Also, because I've worked with a great deal of organizations that are working in the field, and I've seen the difference between using computers and using traditional methods, even for knowing about the land's production and yield. In the past, we used fax machines, or maybe we communicated by means of telephones. But everything is evolving. Nowadays, could be that we use the radio, or maybe some other means, but now computers are sending information about shippings, and we know how to locate a certain place or a certain vehicle. We may know with the use of a GPS device where this vehicle is, and we also have security issues solved like this. So this is a third stage for motivation, and that's what I'm going to talk about next. Please. The next one is about the achievement motivation. The Dr. McClelland studied 42 countries. Mexico was included in this set of 42, and he studied why organizations are successful, why countries are successful, and why is there a difference between some countries and others, between some organizations and others in terms of success. So he began researching on this, and he found a group of characteristics that defined the motivation, the achievement motivation. And it's about thinking about achieving something. I don't know about your dreams, I don't know about your daily insights of what you will obtain from being in this seminar, in this symposium, and what you will do when you get to your workplace. But if you are thinking, if you are envisioning to achieve, to change, that is going to happen. Right now, we are talking about the attraction law, provoking at a certain point whatever is going to happen to us. And then we shouldn't complain, because if we are saying that we are going to get sick, if we say that we are going to have a hard time, if we are going to fail, then you are calling upon those forces. At a certain point, you are sowing in your own mind negative behaviors. If you expect something negative, that's what you are going to get. If you sow positive seeds, that is going to happen. And that happens not only with us, but also with the people that are collaborating with us. So motivation is the need, as according to McClelland, the motivation of finding satisfaction in a behavior that has roots in the unconscious mind, where we have no control at all, where we program motivation when we tell ourselves, I have the right to be here in this planet, and I have something important to do. The other people that say that they were born accidentally, that their parents didn't even want to have them as a child, if they are sure that they are not going to achieve anything in their lives, that sort of mindset will create conditions for those things. Some people believe that bad luck exists, but McClelland tells us that we are creating at all times our own luck, and whatever you believe is what you are going to get. That's the difference between the optimistic and the pessimistic, and that's the way our unconscious mind works. The unconscious mind works that way, and sometimes we have nightmares or very gentle dreams. Another thing that McClelland tells us is that the achievement motivation is the need of looking for greater and superior goals. The people that have this sort of achievement motivation, and if we want positive changes in our organizations, we should give the people higher goals, not to get content with what we had last year or last month. The same old thing. No, it's about getting ahead. So it's about a greater quality, the culture that we've been developing, and it didn't exist in the past. In Mexico, everyone said, well, it's the same, and Mexico will never offer quality. I can recall an automobile company that began working with the idea when they were talking about nationalizing the industry, and they said that they were never going to buy a car with a Mexican-made engine. And well, even imagine to buy a plane with that sort of engine. Would you accept it or not, getting on that kind of Mexican plane? But there are many spare parts and parts that are being made in Mexico, and a great deal of people do not know that. In the case of engines that I was telling you about, what do you think that happened? People said, I'm not going to buy Mexican cars. And I believe that this company was Chrysler, and it was located in Toluca, and it's still there. And they had engines that were being driven around the country at any height, and the engines were put on trial, and they were used for a couple of years, and people ignored that. And since these cars were launched with a Mexican engine, they were working just fine. But I don't know, maybe if you are thinking about buying a car, you are taking into account the origin of manufacture, because right now we are sure that Mexican cars are just as good. So it's about higher objectives, not being content in the system that you are handling irrigation, whatever you have in your hands, the idea is not to be content. It's asking for something extra, for going the extra mile. How could we get better, higher goals at all times? And from those higher goals, deriving from satisfaction and doing things better at all times. That's the quality culture and the idea of Mexico manufacturing quality goods and services, and to take pride in what we are doing in our lands, in the industries that are devoted, for instance, in Sinaloa, to grow any sort of products as cucumber or tomatoes and some other products. These are products that are being exports, and they can compete with any other product from any other origin around the world, because we have that quality goal, and we are always trying to get better results in quality. Another important situation is that someone with the achievement motivation is characterized by assuming a risk in a moderated manner, not just like throwing ourselves, but calculating and estimating our risk. And another characteristic is to feel stimulated by a challenge situation. So it's about facing challenges with a positive mind. Another thing is to look for goals as in a chain, in a succession. It's little by little, one step at a time. So it's about having these gradual objectives. Always it's about having a relationship point, thinking positively, and that's how we call feedback in English. In Spanish is retroalimentación, feedback, to have measurement systems, to know what goes on about our changes, to have information systems. That is essential, that you will never lose control over the organizations you are in, that you assure control through information systems that are timely and prone to be verified, and that are, of course, real. And to wrap up, McLellan tells us also that if we take an X-ray of this kind of person that is motivated through achievement, is because this person wants to. It's asking ourselves, what do you want? What are you looking for? What do you want when you go back to your workplace? And what is the degree in which you want? It's about having that desire, and it's not only about thinking about it. We have the activity involved, the action to transform our dreams into realities. Another very important thing, it's about anticipating ourselves to success or to failure. What happens if we achieve our goal? What happens if we fail to get it? Not only waiting for the last minute to do something about it. Another thing is to think about our barriers, internal and external. What are the barriers within our organizations, and what are the barriers that we face in the outside? And another thing that we had to think about, according to our last slide, is that we must take into account the positive feelings, the way that we are feeling in terms of the possibility of achievement that we've got, and to see the positive and the negative sides with a very positive thought, not like saying, okay, no matter what we do, we are going to fail. And something that is difficult for us in Mexico is to take the initiative in order to get help. The help from the experts, from pundits. We must know how to ask for help, not only telling the other, please help me, but to actually take the initiative to ask for help and to request it timely, in a timely manner, and never forgetting our objective, the goal that we've got, the things that we are looking for making a difference. So, in a nutshell, I would say that that's why countries develop or countries do not develop, or why they succeed or why they fail, because this is because of the leaders that are driving those organizations, because they had a very high motivation of achievement. And in general terms, these three motivation theories are the ones that I wanted to address. And well, to wrap up, please remember about going. And that has to do with the results of a company. To work on a team, we should foster this kind of work. It's not about thinking a single man. We should think about involving and involving and involving, getting people to participate, getting their standpoint, their opinion. And thirdly, the environment. The environment around the people in our workplace should be pleasant, human, where we take pride on being there and to belong. Because what we don't want is that even if we are offered good money, we are not going to work the way we should. Well, that's what I wanted, to plant a seed in your minds, and I thank you for your attention. Well, these topics that are of great interest, many of you gathered here today have dealt with this for your life, for during all your lives. And I would like to thank several circumstances that came along a life in which we always wanted to do something for the people in our country, based on the fact that we didn't know anything, because we really didn't know nothing else but the entrepreneurial activities in Mexico, and we must acknowledge that the land, the country activity is very complex, and that we do not understand fully what it is. I would mention that in our foundation for the rural development, we began with our activities in 1963. That was a long time ago. And the great advantage that we had is that we made a decision of going to learn directly from the people in the field, because as entrepreneurs, very successful, many of them, and many of us participating, we had to understand and to get to know, to absorb, and then